There are satellites on PokerStars for every single live event that we cover. And now that there are spin and goes, you don't even have to play a regular satellite for hours and hours and win a package that way. You can spin a package, you only have to beat 2 people. You can win your way here. Just like Timur Bubnov. Got him for 10 euros, I believe.
I think it may have been a $10 spin and go. Shershikov with aces in the small.
No shame.
So Shershikov, who's been crazy active, now has a great rep for when he actually picks up a hand.
So the chip leader raises small to big. Vitkind does have a playable hand in the big blind. Ace-3 of clubs. Queen 7-4.
Unfortunately for Shershikov, Vitkind didn't pick up much here. I wonder how often he's going to station with ace high.
Seems like a check behind spot for Vitkind.
I thought he did. I thought that finger move was going to be a check, but turns out he's just shuffling chips. I'm really surprised I don't recognize Vitkind or not even the name.
Well, he did check back the flop, and now we get the 10 of spades on the turn. Right colour, but wrong suit for Vitkind. Shershikov has a lock on this now. Shershikov makes a delayed c-bet of 140,000.
He's going to get a fold here. And this is just something, you know, that I don't have as a player. Vitkin sitting here with ace tray thinking about how can I win this hand. My guess is he's probably going to fold anyway, but this is what really great players do. They sit there and they don't just give up. They don't just say, okay, when he bets here, I'm folding. They face a bet. All right, I can do this. I can do this. Probably have to fold, but if I raise, does he call? If I call and then bet river, does he fold? Creativity, as long as it's well-reasoned creativity, will often produce really great results.
So Shershikov up to nearly 3.3 million now. 110 big blinds for the chip leader. And yes, those of you who are hoping to go to Barcelona for the next stop on the PokerStars Championship in August, a reminder that we have got these ultra satellites running in June and July. 215 euros to play. And of course, there are satellites into this satellite. But these games on the 18th of June and the 2nd of July have 50 packages guaranteed.
Package.
We fully expect there to be overlay in these satellites. Giving away 100 packages across 2 tournaments. Across 2 Sundays. One in June, one in July. Book those dates. Play one of those games. Try and make your way to the next stop on our tour.
Do you have aspirations of being a professional poker player? Because Barcelona would be a great place to kick that off. You know why? Because we're going to be covering qualifiers. We're going to be looking for people. We're going to want stories to tell. So bring it on down to Barcelonaville.
And even if you're not interested in pursuing poker beyond it just being a hobby, a pastime, it's a great place to come on holiday and have fun playing a bit of poker and seeing the sights, including the rather lovely beach.
And the rather lovely people on that beach. Some real beautiful people in Barcelona.
Some of them might even try to sell you some sand. So Shershikov back in action, keeping up the pressure, raising here with Queen Jack, a fold from knee in the big blind. A quick question on Twitter from Mikkel. He says, any PokerStars tournaments planned for Copenhagen? And obviously back in the day, the EPT would visit Copenhagen, but hasn't been there since 2012. The honest answer is, Mikkel, I don't know. And I would advise that you keep an eye at PokerStarsLive.com. I would imagine that if there were an event in Copenhagen, it would probably be a festival or a mega stack. Not sure if there'd be a championship there, but look out for an announcement. You never know. I used to love going to Copenhagen. It was one of my favourite cities on the tour.
Copenhagen or Copenhagen?
Either.
Fried Guppy on Twitch says, Vladivostok to Sochi by bus, 7 days. How much would I have to pay you, James, to take a 7-day coach ride in Russia from Vladivostok to Sochi? Because you know there ain't nothing in between either.
The price is going to be big. It's going to have to be like life-changing money.
My guess is that those coaches arrive so infrequently that they don't even report it anymore. It's just like a thing, like just they just disappear into the Russian wilderness.
I mean, first of all, I'd have to take a week off work, so you'd have to compensate me for the loss of holiday.
Okay, so that's what, 500-600 pounds?
Danger money on top of that.
Yeah.
Inconvenience.
100 pounds, yep.
Emotional, physical damage.
We're talking like, what, 1,500, 2,000 pounds?
I genuinely believe we're talking like
50,000. You do it for 50,000.
I think 50,000 is a good number.
Okay. So not exactly life-changing, but significant.
Pays the school fees
I was
for 2 years.
gonna say, you know, that's like a couple years of college. I wouldn't do it for all the kafefe in the world.
Kings for Vladimir Troyanovsky. Raising under the gun to 65,000. Bubnov in the small blind has junk. Garvam, who is down to 25 big blinds, has 7-5 of spades.
Adios. Ed Killer says he'd like to take the Trans-Siberian Railway at some point.
You ever see that movie, Trans-Siberian, with Woody Harrelson, Ben Kingsley?
I never watched the movie, but me and my buddy, do you remember the American movie, the original Kings of Comedy? It was all like the black comedians from the States. We decided to try to make a viral video called The Original Kingsleys of Comedy, and we took a bunch of clips from Ben Kingsley movies and spliced them together with urban audiences laughing, and so I watched parts of Trans-Siberian for that, but I did not actually see the whole movie. Do you know, right after we made that, I was at an airport and Ben Kingsley was sitting across from me, and I just didn't have the stones to ask him to watch it. I really wish I had. Now would have been a much better story. You're watching PokerStars TV.
By the way, it's Sir Ben Kingsley.
Right.
King Jack for knee in the cutoff.
Is that a thing? Like, is it rude for me to not refer to him as Sir Ben Kingsley once he is knighted?
There is a rumor that he prefers to be called Sir Ben. Not
Really?
everyone is fussy about it. I don't know whether it's just become urban myth and he now just plays on that.
He's never struck me as a particularly, like, rude dude. Like, he always seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he is pretty cool, and I think he just... I think he even sent himself up. Was it in The Sopranos?
Sopranos, and I kind of felt like Iron Man was a bit of a send-up of himself also.
Well, look at this. Vlad Troyanovsky outflops Knee, pairing his 10. Knee with the gut shot and the backdoor flush draw.
Bet 30,000. I'm sorry. Bet 50,000.
Knee continuing here.
Можешь давай.
А? Я не открывал воду.
50,000 apiece. Hand goes to the turn. 4 of diamonds pairs the board. Vlad now a 4-1 favourite.
Колледж же вроде профессию.
Да.
Нет, колледж это уже следующий этап.
Средняя техническая. Средняя, вернее, техническая.
Ну да.
На самом деле лицеи были либо
Vlad
физмат,
checks for a second time.
либо английский язык.
Вот это у нас.
And Knee,
Какая школа, ты имеешь в виду, высшая считается?
Колледж.
I think he's checked behind. Yep, sure enough,
Yep.
we're going to the river, which is the king of diamonds. Knee gets there.
Ага.
ПТУ.
И ПТУ.
И технику перенабрали, грубо говоря, в колледж. Вот так скорее.
Да, да, у нас.
У нас.
А у нас техникумы еще
А у них в колледжах получают уровень бакалавра.
ПТУ остались еще.
Да.
У них получают бакалавра
Ну, там другая
в
система.
колледже. Ну, это
И
понятно.
иногда можно в институт сразу на 3-й курс пойти. После колледжа.
Ну, я знаю, что из медицинского, по-моему, на 2-й берут.
А,
Десятка.
2-й, значит.
Gets checked to showdown.
Король.
Pair of 10's no good. Pair of kings is the winner. Justin Sutcliffe has just tweeted, I won do 7 off for the prize. Justin, sending it to @PokerStars and including the hashtag PokerStarsTV will get you nowhere. The hashtag is PSC win. Tim Fisher asks, guys, will there be a series of Shark Cage this year? No, Tim, but we did shoot a new cash game series in Monte Carlo, the PokerStars Championship Cash Challenge. Couple of cash tables with online qualifiers which will air in early 2018. So some facts about Lavrentini, who started today as chip leader. Now second in chips, 21st on the Kazakhstan all-time money list, but he's going to move up that list with a cash here in Sochi.
Ну, для истории можно потерпеть.
Да.
Aces
Number 8. Race.
for Laurentini.
Race 50,000. 10 plus.
We've seen plenty of big pocket pairs, aces and kings and aces.
10 plus.
Are we going to get another no action aces? No, we are not. Shirshikov is going to defend his big blind with 7-8 suited. Great hand for cracking aces. Just one diamond and a pair.
Check. Check.
Check, check. 5 on the turn.
So 2 pair no longer any good. Not that he's got 2 pair, I just mean a 2 pair draw is no longer any good.
Number 5 for bet 66,000. 66 тысяч.
Shashikov bets 66,000. Just a reminder of the pre-flop action. Shashikov defended his big blind to a raise of 62,000 from knee, but with the check back on the flop, Shashikov takes over the betting on the turn.
Full house.
Yeah, for both players. Shershikov made it 66,000 on the turn. Will he bet again on the river?
Your hand strength doesn't really improve, but it sounds better. You know, you get a full house now. He's gonna bet it. Now, James, when you get bet into here and you have the second nuts, but maybe, just maybe, like you feel like a total wimp not raising, right? When you just call here, you just look like a total loser.
You can't not raise. Although, let's be realistic. What is the value in raising? What hands actually call you?
A king can call you. An 8 might call you sometimes, I think.
Well, there is the raise from Knee. So Shershikov made it 95,000. Knee raises to 287,000.
Shershikov, as we said, is a deliberate player. I think this is ultimately a fairly trivial fold with an 8 in your hand. Pairs bigger than 8, and lots of kings are in Knee's range.
Что сыграно? Что бы там не было.
Punisher on Twitter says, I'm predicting it. Knee is going to win today. Well, this pot will help him with that ambition for sure. Shershikov folds.
Yeah.
Любой моей карты хватало, чтобы забрать этот банк.
So Knee back up to 2.9 million. Chasing the heels of Pavel Shershikov, who's still chip leader with 3.1 million. And 40 minutes left to play on this level. Hello to Greg, a recent superfan on the Poker in the Ears podcast. Greg says, I'm watching the last day of the action with my youngest Zara, who is 8. And Greg has got his Chop Pot hoodie on. Hashtag, please say hi. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Greg.
And hi, Zara.
Опять теоретически.
A reminder, if you'd like to be a superfan on the podcast, hashtag Poker in the Ears. Just pick a specialist subject. If it's poker related, chances are you'll get a good chance of being on the show.
Raise 62,000. Raise 600.
Пятерки проигрывал, короля бил, что может быть?
Что может быть? Может быть, 2 восьмерки и 2 туса.
Реально тузы?
И 2 короля.
Хорошо сыграно, у меня восьмерка была.
Knee back in the action, raising under the gun with ace-9.
I might have to get behind this whole Knee's gonna win statement. First Kazakhstani winner on any tour ever? Except for maybe the Kazakhstani poker tour, the KPT.
Vidkin defends his big blind with a dominated 9.
Страшно стало что-то.
Смотрю, тузы читаю.
While both players pair their 9.
Да.
почему тузы, а что? С валетами там, думаешь,
Валеты, ну, рейзить.
будет как-то по-другому?
А он стал бы рейзить с валетами.
Да нет, при флопе, да.
При флопе и это, и флоп одинаково, бесспорно.
Number 8 bet 76,000. 76.
Просто не ставить риверчик, фолдить, наверное. Ну ладно.
Betting a call. This board gets significantly worse for Vitkin's hand.
And significantly better for Nee as he picks up the nut flush draw on the turn. He's still a huge favourite with his pair of nines with an ace kicker. Well, the way Vitkin's running today, watch out for the offsuit 5.
That's a good point. Oh, that would be so dirty. Surely we're not going to get there, though.
Now that Nee picks up equity, you figure he'll barrel the turn. 321,000 in the middle. And that bet from Nee is 148k.
At 148,000. Bet 148 тысяч.
Вообще.
Vitkin does give it up.
Pass.
And Nee is pretty much tied for the chip lead now with Shershikov. Remember, Nee came into this final table in the number 1 spot, but Shershikov wasn't that far behind.
Десятка сюда куб.
At what point Shershikov opened up quite a margin on Nee, but now pretty much 100 big blinds apiece.
But the closer they get together at the top means the further the rest of the field falls behind them.
Yeah, with the two players at the lower end of the spectrum being Timo Bubnov, our spin and go qualifier, with 32 big blinds, and Said Garvam from Iran with 25 big blinds. Blinds up in half an hour. Next player out receives 6.5 million rubles, roughly 115,000 US dollars. The winner gets 29 million. It's just over half a million US. Queen 9 for Shershikov. That's a button race. 75,000. Ace Jack for Vitkind. He's had this hand 3 times today. He doubled up with it on what was only, the second hand of the final table?
Тоже ты уже фотографию посмотрел, да?
That's a 3-bet from Vitkind. Action now on Nee. The chip leader is in the big blind. Just corrected the size of that re-raise. 230,000 total. Nee folds the big.
I feel like even though you can be getting played, yeah, it's just a better fold here.
Ну, рейнчик Паула. Опенов, 3 бетов.
Не понял.
So we have played
Мне фотографии
28
присылают
hands so
все
far
хенды,
today.
которые были.
У тебя хорошая группа поддержки.
Я уже знаю, кто на чем пихал, 3 бейтил, 4 бейтил час назад. Кто пушил, мэн, на доске 10-8-5.
And confirmation that Nee has moved slightly ahead of Pavel Shershikov.
Принял верное решение.
Такой, я бы сказал, так себе.
Both players pretty much tied for the
Yeah,
chip
well,
lead.
that
Garvan bringing up the rear.
Ну, я же на троеножке.
Все показывает, да?
То есть не тузы там были?
ставил, да? Круто.
В общем, разведка заработала, да?
Да.
Теперь интересно, кто ж там был.
Нечестно, преимущество.
Не имей 100 рублей.
I'm ready for Vlad to play another hand. No offense to these other guys, but I've been watching Vlad for years. Would love to see him lift that trophy.
Идут из разных концов страны.
It's Sheshkov's turn to be dealt ace-jack. He's going to raise from the cutoff to 75,000. Jack 10 for knee in the small blind. He folds. Bubnov in the big.
75.
Ace 9.
Диапазоном опена.
Be careful.
Really careful. What kind of car crash can we see here? Not much.
Что не
King,
так?
Queen 8. Ace Jack high, still ahead.
That didn't look right to me.
Yeah, it was a Queen high flop. Queen 8-4 with 2 diamonds.
Yeah.
Уважение не проявил.
70.
Bet 7,000. Bet 70,000.
With the action checked from Shershikov continues for 70,000.
That's the best hand, and that's gonna win.
So we are still 6-handed at this final table, the PokerStars Championship Sochi main event.
Очевидно, что это очень легко посчитать.
Vitkin raising under the gun here, opening to 70,000. And he's got ace-jack again. This is the 4th time in 32 hands.
What the hell is happening?
And Bubnov's got 6s. Now Bubnov, effective stack here. He has 30 big blinds. I absolutely hate playing small pairs with this stack size.
And I think you can just fold them sometimes, James. I really do.
Well, Bubnov decides to call. He is in position. Now Garvam, who has ultimate position on the button, is deciding whether he wants to get involved with King Jack.
I mean, King Jack's a little dicey, given an under-the-gun raise and a call, but you are in position. You're getting a really good price.
You are also the low man at the table, though, with 20 bigs.
Oh, yeah. There's always so much stuff to think about in poker.
So Garvam calls as well. Could be going 3-way to a flop here.
I think Vlad can safely get out of the way, despite the price. Das Vidanya. Quick call out of the big blind. We know this guy likes to play hands. What? Well, there goes flopping a set.
Wow. Shershikov also has 6s. He calls as well. 4 of the 6 players at this final table are going to the flop. And that flop is King 4-4. So Garvam flops best. Shershikov and Bubnov are already drawing dead.
From worst to first. Unbelievable. I mean, look, the guy had his lunch eaten earlier today, so I'm not going to begrudge him too much. Plus, we still don't know what's actually going to happen. There's a club out there. Vitkin could do it to him again with the ace-jack. I do think a C-bet's going to win this a fair amount of the time. Obviously not right now.
Bet 75,000.
Wow. Bubnov peels with his 6s.
This is a very, very strange hand. Vidkin c-betting into 3 opponents with ace high. Bubnov calling with his 6s, officially drawing dead. Garvam in with the best hand.
Sure, Shikov can't call. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so he folds the other 2 6s, and this hand is going to the turn. Queen of diamonds, so Vitkin picks up a gut shot. His ace is also still live.
I don't know how you can bet this again when you get called in 2 spots. Yeah, this should go check, check, bet.
Careful, Bubnov.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like, when Gavam overcalls behind him, he's going to have a king, and he's going to have a 4. Pretty much always. Sometimes maybe he'll have, like, 10s or something like that, but... Yeah, there's just... There's no point in bluffing this.
Question is, will Garvan bet? No, he checks behind. So this hand goes to the river, which is the Queen of Clubs. We have a double paired board now. Vitkin playing queens and 4s with an ace kicker.
I was going to say that Gavam doesn't really have to bet there because there's not a lot for him to get value from either. And there's not a ton for him to protect against. Unfortunately, one of the cards he wanted to, he would have wanted to protect against is another queen. There are just no draws on the flop, so, like, what are you getting called by in 2 different places?
Vitkin checks. Bubnov decides to bet river.
Bet 1 and 10,000.
I assume he's turning his 6s into a bluff here. 110,000.
Some better hands might fold, like 7s, 8s. Maybe he thinks, hey, look, with a double paired board, maybe a king folds. Maybe not.
No, Garvin's calling for sure.
First call.
Vitkind, however, can fold. And does fold. It's a showdown, and Garvam wins a decent-sized pot. Gets back in this thing with a 40 big blind stack now. Bubnov down to 22 bigs.
My 3 pair beats your 3 pair.
Now, I want to help out a couple of people on Twitter. First of all, Stephen Hanzercast, did you announce the winners of yesterday's Spin and Go competition? Yes, Stephen, we did. You'll have to go back to check that later. Now, poor Liam Porteous has tried so many times to enter this competition, and he still can't get it right. So Liam, first of all, sent his tweet to you and me.
Yeah.
Then he sent it with the hashtag PSWin and no hand ID.
Not right.
His final attempt, we've got the screenshot, we've got the hand ID, he's included his stars ID, but the hashtag is still wrong, Liam. Hashtag PSC PokerStars Championship win. Hashtag PSC win. And I'm not trying to be awkward, but seriously, the people who are monitoring the competition will only look at that hashtag. So please get the hashtag right in order to be in contention to win a €109 Barcelona satellite ticket.
Liam, you blew it. Can we help out Tim Fisher, who says, even after Antarctica was discovered, my ex-wife's bedroom was the coldest place on the planet.
He says, I bet you don't read that out, lol. I was going to say we weren't going to read it out, but not because it was offensive, but because it wasn't funny.
That was kind of funny. Poker has a long-standing tradition of ex-wife jokes, James.
Я ее не рыжу.
А почему ты не рейс? Гамма там не может быть.
Some traditions need to end. Nia's opened under the gun with Queen 9. Bubnov, the table low man, has pocket nines.
Король Гана зачекавший.
Ну это вообще очень стрёмно так чекать. Ну, вероятность очень мала.
Ну, она и...
Я пропустил, что какой-то экшен потом на ривере был.
Нет,
Я
он
не
мог
стал
быть.
дрейфить просто. Чек. Не,
Все
по факту
прочекали.
экшена не было.
Чё
Чек,
прочекали?
бэт,
Нет,
кол.
ривер, бет, кол.
А, бэткол был?
Чё
Блеф
бэт?
был.
I think there's an all-in
Пара
spot.
там была. Ну, блеф. В целом.
22 big blinds.
Блеф, конечно.
Yeah. This one you can safely get it in with 2 nines.
Мы оба с шестерками рассчитывали так на сет. И у нас
It's
было
probably
нормально.
tempting to call,
У кого еще что?
У меня две
but you really want to see all 5 cards. You can get a lot of folds if you rip it in. You might even get a call from a worse hand. 7s and 8s.
Well, Bubnov decides to just call. Round to Vlad on the button. Troinovsky with 10-6. Folds. Shershikov gives up the small blind. Vitkind has ace-3 in the big blind. Second hand in a row where we get multi-way action. 3 players going to the flop.
That's another reason why you don't want to just call there. You give the big blind a really cheap flop.
6 check.
So you can play results here, right, with your 9s. And go, oh, well, you know, I just call because it's a terrible flop for 9s. Now I can just get away from it, when we know that if he had ripped it in, he would have won the pot before the flop. Almost certainly.
Well, the action is checked around. 10 on the turn.
Tell me the river's a case 9 and he like triples up and I look like an idiot. Looks like Vitkin thinks it's safe to bet his top pair. Me with nothing but a gut shot. Seems fairly obvious.
Eight pass. 10 pass.
The bet of 90,000 gets through. Vitkin, by the way, playing 2.3 million. 75 big blinds. 40 minutes left on the level.
Да, красиво было.
Да. Ну чисто случайно там мог оказаться красивый кол.
Который просто
I'm
кол.
so used to just letting the
Не
players
должен
talk,
быть,
but
просто кол.
Нельзя говорить.
it's not really a point.
I do love it though, and this
Yeah,
happens
okay,
whatever
yes.
language people are talking at a poker table, whether it's German, Russian, French. You can still pick out the poker terminology.
Yeah, that's fun.
You still hear the like check call, 3 bet.
Что прикрываться?
Gigantic effing fish.
Когда есть просто...
First pass.
Vladimir Troinovsky, king queen in the cutoff. Action's been folded to him.
65.
Right, 65,000.
Raises to 65,000.
Fifth pass.
Vitkind with kings.
This could get interesting. Oh no. Oh, Liam.
Liam, I'm going to spell this out as slowly as I can. Hashtag PSC win.
Raise 180.
PSC win. Just 6 letters. PSC WIN.
I'm gonna guess that spelling's not Liam's strong suit. His PokerStars ID is Trav. It looks like he's attempting to spell travel life, but if you read it, it actually says Trave life or travel ife. 1.
So Vitkind has 3-bet here from the small blind with his kings. King, queen. I know you're a fan of this hand, Joe. Do you play it in position? Do you call the 3-bet?
I'm going to be pretty tempted. Now, offsuit, maybe I can get rid of it. I do like this hand a lot. It's just this dynamic. You know, I'm fairly likely... How many chips do I have to start the hand? 50 big blinds. Like, you know, I can be opening pretty wide here. So the small blind can be 3-betting me pretty wide. I do think I'm going to be dominated often enough that I can fold. Yep, and Troyanovsky does make the fold.
Yeah, Vitkind obviously had that early double up. Currently 3rd in chips, hovering around the 80 big blind mark. Timur Bubnov, the spin and go qualifier, has dropped below 20 bigs, and the blinds go up in 11 minutes' time.
Pass. 3 and pass.
Well, this has been folded around to the blinds. It's hand 35 of the final table, by the way. Lavrentini currently sits 2nd in chips with 2.9 million. As we've mentioned a few times, he and Pavel Shershikov are pretty much tied for the chip lead right now. Me with 10-8.
66,000. Trade to this one.
Raises and gets a fold from Bubnov in the big.
I didn't even get the chance to do some really incorrect analysis before that hand ended. Oh, thanks a lot to Zonro, who did a screenshot of the Spin and Go ticket winners. Now, they didn't use the hashtag PokerStarsTV, so it'll be tough to see it, tough to find. But it was still nice of them to screenshot that and put it out there so people don't have to go scrolling back and looking for it.
That is true.
Number 3 pass. 5 pass. Number 6 raise.
Vitkind with ace-8 has raised it. 65,000 from the cutoff. Ace-4 for knee on the button.
Thank you. 7.
Like the fold there. Still got the blinds to deal with. Small blind folds. Gotham style.
Oh, wow. So Zonro has now tweeted using the hashtag PSC win. I give up.
We're being trolled, right? This is like a giant joke. So you're effing with us.
Just to be clear, people, competition entries go to PSC win. Anything editorial, anything related to the show, any comments, any questions, PokerStars TV. Anywho, ace 5-3, all hearts.
First check.
Straight flush draw for Gavin.
6 check.
Well, there is the heart. They both have a flush.
8 high flush versus a deuce high flush. Ugh.
First check.
What do we think, James? Did he do it?
I think Liam has finally nailed it, by the way.
Liam! Yes!
Can you imagine after all that effort if he wasn't then picked out of the hat tomorrow?
Oh, no, no shot.
Is this going to get checked to showdown? No, Vitkind is going to bet the river. And he gets called. 65,000.
Well done.
Gets value from a smaller heart. And Vitkin continues to get the better of Garvam.
I need 4 up heart.
4?
4 up height.
Yeah.
Что он говорит, у него было 2 4 of heart?
Он сказал, что хотел купить.
Хотелось бы стрит флеш.
Все понятно. Купить ему.
And still squeeze in 2 or 3 hands before the first break of the day. It'll only be a 20-minute break, and we'll be straight back with more cards-up action from the Sochi main event final table.
This is really turning into Shershikov knee Vitkin versus Troyanovsky Gavam Bubnov.
Блефовал бы. 4-2.
Under the gun raise here from Shershikov.
The first 3 names I just read kind of have all the chips.
Shershikov opening with queens. Yeah, Vitkind closing in on the 2 chip leaders right now. Just shy of 90 big blinds. Bubnov folds Jack 5 on the button. Action on Garvam in the small. He passes. So round to Vladimir Troyanovsky in the big blind. And Vlad's got ace jack.
Well, he's certainly not folding, but he wisely just calls against the opening position raise.
Да все, по-моему, уже.
And luckily for Vlad, misses this flop.
Checks to Shershikov. Oh, sneaky check behind with the overpair.
It is a sneaky check behind, and in this situation, it looks all right because Vlad just got ace high, so maybe you get a little deception there, but I don't really know if there's a reason not to bet that.
Well, he's going to get a bet out of Vlad on the turn. Troyanovsky now leads for 90,000.
I guess just to be a little tricky, right, to like mix up your play a little bit, I'll allow it. But in general, like, you know, your big blind's going to have enough for that.
Shershikov calls, and we go to the river. The river card is a 5, pairing the board. Vlad does not fire again. Checks the action to Shershikov, who checks behind.
Шестерка.
Дама.
So, full value?
No.
Like I said earlier, he seems to have a style all his own. I mean, look, he's chip leader, major tournament.
Yes, Pavel Shershikov playing 3.2 million, more than 100 big blinds. At least for another 3 minutes. A reminder, the blinds will be up to 20-40 after that. Not good news for Timur Bubnov. Right now he's got 18 big blinds, but at the new level, he will be in the danger zone.
Danger zone! Well, you know that's a bad check behind when Twitch thinks it's a bad check behind. Bible thumb.
Vitkin getting his fair share of strong hands today, raising under the gun here with 7s.
Has he had 7s before also? It's all
Yeah.
ace, jacks, and 7s for this kid.
Stop forgetting he had aces once. 6-4 for Bubnov. He folds from the cutoff. Garvam on the button has 10-8 of diamonds.
you know, 31 big blinds, and it's a fun hand. Hey, we're having fun.
Troianovski with Jack 9 in the small.
We've seen him fold King 10 in the small blind.
Короли тогда. Король валет.
I wonder if Vlad's been to sleep once this week. I know what the Russians are like outside of Russia. They play in the tournament, then they play cash game or Chinese poker all night long, then they go back to the tournament. I would assume in Russia there's just so much more action between the Russians that there's no chance they go to bed.
I think Vlad's going to get a little bit squeezy here. Sure enough, he 3-bets from the small blind.
Raise 3 or 5,000.
Nice move from Troianovski, re-raising to 305,000.
You know, maybe he started realizing what kind of opening ranges that Vitkin has and that it's not always the super nuts.
And sure enough, he's got a fold from the best hand. And with his stack size, Gartham can't continue with this. Speculative suited one gappers.
James, that's a straight flush draw?
Gartham folds, so the squeeze gets through. Troianovski hovering around 50 bigs. And with 30 seconds left on the clock, we will squeeze in one more hand before the first break of the day.
Matt Broughton, Twitch chat, says Vlad equals awesome. Agreed.
Ну как хороший. Отлично.
Фишки кончаются, деваться некуда.
В общем, любая пара. Это хорошо. Но не всегда.
Тру.
And 39 sees knee fold under the gum.
Мораль.
Bubnov, the spin and go qualifier, has 5-4 of spades. Doesn't have many chips.
Yeah.
Только из-за бэк. Как
Not a good hand to play with his stack size.
дома отрывает.
Давай, трой.
He's waiting for his biggin. Ain't gonna happen this level.
Fold it around to Troianovski on the button. 5 deuce of clubs. He passes. Shershikov in the small. Also passes. It's a walk for Vitkind.
Короче, 7. Да там без разницы, по большому счету.
Телек же.
King 7.
Понятно.
So that will bring the first session of the day to a close.
Никому же не надо
We've
оставаться
played
в столу.
2 hours of poker. We've played 6-handed. No eliminations so far. All 6 remain and will come back after the break. But with the blinds going up, we see that Bubnov is now under pressure. 13 big blinds. Shershikov has the chip lead just ahead of Knee. Vitkind also very much in contention. Troianovski now below average. Gartham not too healthy. 20,000, 40,000, 5,000 ante. The next level, the PokerStars Championship Sochi main event, kicks off in 20 minutes time. Join us after the break for more live action here on PokerStars TV.